Have you ever like just stopped and looked at something super ordinary? I don't know, like your phone or a pen or something. And you get this weird feeling like, wait, how do I even know this is real?
Yeah, totally. It's kind of a trippy thought, right?
It is. And that's kind of what we're going to deep dive into today. We're
Yeah.
tackling this idea that maybe, just maybe, everything we think is real is actually an illusion.
It's a pretty wild concept. And we're going to be looking at it through the lens of Osho's teachings. He was a spiritual teacher, really fascinating guy. And this whole life is a dream thing was kind of a central theme in his work.
Right. Osho. Definitely not your typical self-help guru. And I think a lot of people have probably had that thought, like late at night, What if this is all a dream?
Yeah, it's one of those things that pops into your head at 3 a.m. But Osho really went deep with it, exploring what it would mean if our everyday experience wasn't as solid as we think it is.
So where do we even begin with unpacking this?
Well, a good starting point is something we all experience. Dreams. Those nightly adventures your mind takes you on.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I had one last week where I was being chased by a giant talking toaster pastry. Super weird.
Right. But in the moment, it feels totally real. Your heart races, your palms sweat. You feel like you're really there.
For sure. And then you wake up and you're like, what was that all about?
Exactly. And that's Osho's point. If our dreams can feel so real, even though they're just projections of our mind, what if our waking life is kind of like a bigger, more elaborate dream?
Okay, whoa. I see where this is going. So you're saying maybe everything, our jobs, relationships, all the stuff we stress about is part of this grand illusion.
That's the core idea. Now, within the dream, everything matters. We get attached to things, we worry, we strive. But Osho's suggestion is that our suffering comes from not recognizing the dream for what it is.
It's like we're taking the movie way too seriously, even though it's just a story playing out on a screen.
Perfect analogy. We forget we're the audience, not the characters. And we get so caught up in the plot twists and the drama that we lose sight of the bigger picture.
Which is?
That it's all temporary. The set changes, the actors change, the story itself eventually ends. But we get so invested in our little roles that we forget it's not the whole reality.
And that brings us to, as Osho puts it, the cosmic joke. The fact that we think we own things in this dream, our houses, our money, even our bodies.
Right. It's like fiercely guarding sandcastles on the beach, even though the tide is inevitably going to come in and wash them away.
So the joke is that we think we have control, but we actually don't.
Exactly. And that attachment, that grasping, is where a lot of our pain and suffering comes from. We resist the natural flow of change, like trying to hold on to a fistful of water. You just can't do it.
This is making a lot of sense. But I've got to ask, if it's all just a dream, then what's the point? Should we all just give up and eat ice cream all day?
Well, ice cream is never a bad idea. But no, it's not about giving up or checking out. Osho suggests the point is to enjoy the play, to experience it fully, to appreciate the beauty, the humor, the absurdity of it all.
Enjoy it. It feels like we're constantly being told to hustle and grind and achieve. Enjoyment almost feels rebellious.
It is a different way of looking at things. Instead of focusing on some distant goal, the emphasis shifts to being present in each moment, appreciating the unfolding of the dream without judgment.
So this idea of waking up that Osho talks about,
Yeah.
is that like suddenly realizing in the middle of a dream that you can fly, a shift in awareness within the dream itself.
It's even deeper than that. It's not just about being aware you're dreaming. It's about recognizing that you are the dreamer, that you're the consciousness experiencing the dream, not just a character in it.
That's a mind-bending thought. It's like the actor suddenly realizing, oh, I'm not Hamlet. I'm just an actor playing Hamlet on a stage.
And that realization changes everything. Suddenly, you're not so caught up in the drama of the play. You can appreciate the artistry, the performance, without losing yourself in the role.
So if we can apply this to life, it's about detaching from our ego, from our stories, from the things we think define us.
Exactly. And this leads us to some pretty powerful takeaways from Osho's perspective. First, stop taking the dream so seriously. Lighten up. The stakes aren't as high as they seem.
Easier said than done, right?
It takes practice. But the more we remember it's a dream, the less power our worries and anxieties have over us. The second takeaway is to let go attachment. Since everything in the dream is temporary, clinging to it only creates suffering.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like trying to hold on to a handful of sand. The tighter you squeeze, the more slips through your fingers.
And finally, focus on the experience itself. Be present, be curious, savor the moments without constantly judging or trying to control them.
Be more like a kid in a candy store. just enjoying the abundance of it all.
Exactly. And ultimately, the invitation is to wake up, to recognize the illusory nature of reality and connect with the deeper consciousness that's experiencing it all.
And what happens when we wake up? Do we get superpowers?
Haha, maybe not superpowers in the traditional sense. But the real superpower is freedom. Freedom from the fear and worry that comes from believing the dream is the only reality.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
It is, and it can have a huge impact on how we live our lives. We become more resilient, more present, more able to appreciate the beauty and wonder of this temporary, ever-changing dream.
So our deep dive into Osho's teachings suggests that maybe, just maybe, we're all characters in this cosmic movie. And the invitation is to wake up, step outside the storyline, and remember, we're also the audience.
And with that awareness comes a profound shift in perspective. We're not just caught up in the drama. We can appreciate the artistry, the humor, the sheer absurdity of it all.
And maybe, just maybe, that's the key to truly living a fulfilling life.
It's certainly a perspective worth exploring. So we leave you with this thought. If life is a dream, how do you want to play?